So dear students, today we are going to speak about the next step of strategic management. Today we are speaking about the analysis. Actually, what you have done, you understood the main purpose of existence of your company. Now you are working on objectives, and the basis for the objective setting task is general industry analysis. And today we are going to speak about this very important step of strategic management. Okay. So today we are speaking about the industry and competitive analysis. Dear students, do you see my presentation in full screen?
No, not yet.
No.
No, we can't.
Okay, let's do it today. Some strange deals happens. Okay, let's do it one more time. And now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So, I'm sorry for this delay. Today we are speaking about industry and competitive analysis. Generally, to create a strategy, we need some information. And where can we get this information? It's clear to understand that the information which we need to create our strategy is a result of conducting different kinds of analysis. And during our course, we will speak about the main types of analysis. During our previous course, we spoke about SWOT analysis. That's why I decided to put here this screen, this picture. But during our course, we will speak about more complicated forms of analysis. So generally, we have to understand the industry and competitive conditions. And generally, without the analysis of the industry, it is not possible to create a strategy. And one more important thing about the word industry. It was a little bit surprising for me that industry has different meanings in English language, and first of all, I thought that it is only one possible translation into Ukrainian as pромисловість. But now we are speaking about the industry as about галузь. Це дуже важливо. Тобто ми зараз говоримо не про аналіз промисловості, а про галузевий аналіз. So, industries differ widely. There are a lot of different characteristics, economic characteristics, competitive situations, and etc. So, here this is the pictures I wanted to show you the variety of industries in economy. It could be food industries, could be chemical industry, it could be It could be energy, generating energy, it could be some services. And in every industry, all the economic characteristics are different. For example, what is completely normal for heavy machine building, for example, that the production cycle can be, if we are speaking about the turbines, the production cycle can be more than a year, more than a year. And if we are speaking about services, so the production cycle is very, very short. And economists and specialists in the field of strategic management, they created like a template for industry analysis, what main economic characteristics must be described to understand the main economic features of the industry. And generally, when we are speaking about industry analysis, we have to understand the main economic features, when we have to understand the competitive forces in the industry, when we have to understand the drivers in the industry, when we have to understand what company is the strongest or what company is the weakest, just to understand our place in the industry. We understand that the world is not stable. That's why we have to forecast the future steps of our customers. And then we have to understand how attractive is the industry in terms of receiving profitability more than average. So, and during our course, we are going to speak about all these factors, and today we are speaking about only the first factor. Today we are speaking about the industry economic features. Generally, I'm stressing one more time that here we are understand under the word industry, a group of companies whose products have so many same attributes, so that they compete for the same buyers. So if translating to our to Ukrainian language, it is галузь, але не промисловість. Я це ще раз наголошую. So, if we try to gather all the factors, we can find a lot of factors, really a lot of factors. But, as I told you, specialists in the field of strategic management, they decided to limit number of these factors, and they provided just like a template what factors should be described. And speaking a little bit forward, your task is to describe all these factors, but according to these very template. Actually, it's like a structure of business plan, for example. The structure of business plan is also a template for the description of some company or description of some initiative, for example. And the template for business planning is also stable, and if you want your business plan to be accepted, for example, by a bank, you have to follow this structure. And the same situation with the industry analysis. So if you want your industry analysis to be accepted, you have to provide it, you have to conduct it in the mentioned way. So, speaking a little bit forward, also please take the same structure and please take the same order of economic features. So, in your task, you have to mention the factor. It is written in red, and then you have to prepare the description of this factor. And in the next screens, it will be some example. We are taking the sulfuric acid industry. Ринок сірчаної кислоти, because this industry is this product actually is a basic product for any other chemical production. So in the red you will see the description. Here you will see the general, how to say, the general notes about this factor, and in green you will have, you will see the example for the given industry. So the first is market size. Actually. It is clear to understand the bigger is market, so the more attractive this market for big companies. And generally the competition at big markets used to be bigger. And you have to describe the market in money units and also in non-money units. Here it will be million tons of sulfuric acid. So you have to also to mention these two sizing of the market in money and in absolute units. Scope of competitive rivalry. Scope in this meaning means масштаб. Це буде масштаб конкуренції. The scope can be local, regional, national, and global. Local means that you are competing. Your company is competing only with companies which are situated near to your company. For example. When you are buying when you are buying bread to on your way home, so you are buying it, you used to buying it maybe in one of the shops which are situated close to your road from metro from subway to your home. And in this very case only these small kiosks or bread shops are competitors. Maybe it is another example. Actually, any services usually are have a local level of competition. For example, dear ladies, when you are choosing a beauty salon to have a new haircut, you are choosing the beauty salons near the place where are you living now. Yes, maybe it is possible for you to go to the city not far from Kharkiv, for example, but usually you are choosing the place in your city. And maybe if somebody has a car. It is the same situation when you want to, for example, to change the oil. Usually drivers you are using the company in the city, but it's not the general rule. For example, I have a friend, and certainly the situation was before the war, but he used to go to Lozova to change the oil in his car, and to have some services, some technical services, because he likes that company situated in Lozova. So actually, but the road is, as for me, it is nonsense to waste time and money for such a road. But generally, the local means only if you are competing with company which are situated near to you. The next is regional. Regional means that you are competing only with companies of some region. If speaking about the example of this kind of scope of rivalry, we can take as an example some food products which needs refrigerator to be delivered. For example, milk, dairy products. Usually it is very difficult to find in Kharkov some producers from Western Ukraine, and the same situation in Western Ukraine. There is no examples of some food produced in Poltava region or in Kharkov region, because it's too costly, too expensive to deliver this kind of goods. So we can say that in this very case we are competing only with the producers of some region, maybe 2-3 regions. Це я кажу про області, так прямо перекласти досить важко. Okay, the national scope of competition means that we are competing only within one country. Actually, this scope of competition is very rare. Maybe as an example, it could be provided the educational system of Ukraine. If we analyze it, if we analyzed it 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we actually didn't compete with international universities, and nowadays you know that a lot of universities from Poland, from Slovakia, from Czechia are trying to invite Ukrainian students. So I think nowadays this market can be characterized as global rivalry. And actually it's very difficult to set an example of national level of competition. And actually the main level of competition for any industrial products is global scope of competition. Global scope of competition means that we are competing with any companies. For example, when you want to buy some industrial, some electronics, for example, computer. In our market you can find this equipment produced in any country all over the world, I think. Maybe except Africa, but I don't know. As speaking about sulfuric acid industry, as you can see here, the level of competition is primarily regional because it's rather expensive to deliver these raw material to long distance, more than 300 kilometers. Here is written in miles because this example was taken from Thomson & Strickland Strategic Management. The next, market growth rate and where the industry is in the growth rate. Why it is very, first of all, we have a lot of, not a lot, but the stages of markets, so it could be launch, growth, maturity and decline. And why it is important? Because when the market is growing, it's the competition, the level of competition is less, because the more new buyers we have, we can satisfy their needs, and it provides us with the growth without cutting some pieces of the market from other rivals. It's very important. If speaking about the sulfuric acid industry, it is about from 2 to 3% annually growth, and stage is maturity. Why it is small growth? Because generally the industrial production is growing slowly, maybe, but growing. Okay. Number of rivals and their relative size. Why it is very important? It is important because if the rivals are very big, it is possible for them to push on our company. And if the number of rivals are very small, so in this very case it's not possible for one rival to push on our industry. Here you can see that in this industry there are not many companies. There are small quantity of companies. So actually it is generally not good situation for us, because if we are producers of this raw material, because every producer can push on our company. The number, I told the number of buyers. Actually, if speaking about buyers and are they big or small, you have to prepare the description of buyers of your company as it is given here. It is clear. Some industries has very strong trend for backward or forward integration. And before speaking about how it can be described, I'd like to speak with you what is the forward and backward integration. The forward and backward integration, generally these two types of integrations, we are calling him as vertical integration, as it is written here. So here is the chain of creating value for customers. So from raw materials to intermediaries and to buyers. And when we are trying to merge our suppliers, it is backward integration. When it is about merging the companies who are producing something with the help of our materials or details, we are speaking about forward integration. And some industries are has a very strong tendency to vertical integration. Some industries, for example, if speaking about has fuel production, we can find companies which getting these raw materials from Earth and then producing fuel, and also oil actually, and then selling it to the final consumers. And the same situation can be found in some other industries. Some companies have some farms. Also they have production departments in their structure, and also they have some net of shops. Actually, if speaking about it was the situation, this company became bankrupt, but if speaking about current situation, we can say that Russian company is vertically integrated company. Actually, I don't know the current situation because of war, but before war in December, it was some information that they decided to invest into farms to have fresh milk, and if they managed to implement this strategy, they have the same situation. Why many companies, many producers of dairy products want to integrate farms? Because the quality of milk is highly interrelated and interconnected with the final quality of the product. And a lot of producers has very unpleasant practice to put antibiotics into the milk, and it can help to store the milk fresh, but to produce it is not possible to produce cheese or actually any dairy product from this raw material, because we have to put some bacteria to the to the milk, and these antibiotics will kill everything. So that's why companies, when they produce in some dairy products, they want to include some other suppliers of milk, of raw materials. And coming back to these characteristics, you have to prepare the description. Do your industry has the tendency to backward or forward or both vertical integrations or not? And dear students, it is very important, generally, I'm coming back a little bit. So here you are describing not your company, but the industry of your company. So maybe, for example, if speaking about vertical integration, maybe your company doesn't have vertical integration, and maybe it is a problem for your company. And because all other companies have these phenomenon, have this strategy of vertical integration. So in this case, your strategy, your final strategy has to include these activity. So I'm stressing one more time, in this very task you are preparing the description, not your company, but the industry, the full industry of your company. And if your company is diversified, certainly you are describing only one strategical business unit, which you want to take as an example as an object of your research. The next, the types of distribution channels used to access buyers. Actually, it could be here in this picture you can see the different ways to to provide customers with our product. It could be with intermediaries or without intermediaries. And if we are including intermediaries into our channels, it could be only one only one intermediaries, and it could be more than one, as it is shown here. And if speaking about the sulfuric acid industry, in this industry there is no intermediaries usually between sulfuric acid factories and consumers. So if speaking about the sulfuric acid industry, there is this very part of the picture, the first one. The next, the place of technological changes in production process and new products introductions. It is very important. Is it possible for us to produce the product which we produced a year ago or several years ago? Is it possible to produce it now? Actually, if speaking about some food, it is possible. If speaking about maybe electronics, it is completely not possible, because every year we have new technologies and we have to adopt our products to the needs of the markets. It is very important to understand the level of differentiation for the industry. So, why it is so important? Because if we have the industry with weekly differentiation, differentiation, it is possible to have only one competitive advantage, almost one competitive advantage, and this competitive advantage could be only the price, And if speaking about industries with very big level of differentiation, we can add some characteristics, and the characteristics could be our competitive advantages. If speaking about the market of sulfuric acid industry, the market is highly standardized, and it means that the only competitive advantage at this very market is price. What does it mean that the market is standardized? It means that it's not possible to produce good sulfuric acid or bad sulfuric acid, or sulfuric acid with some features. It is a standard. As far as I remember, the chemical formula is H2SO4. There is a standard to the quality of the sulfuric acid, and if the company doesn't meet these requirements, it means that it's not possible to sell this raw material. And it's not possible to add any feature except of price. So in this very case, the price competition will be the main and actually the only competitive advantage. But in some other industries, for example, you are writing about, somebody writes about chocolates. So when we want to buy some chocolates, we are used to buying these very kind of chocolates, not because this is the cheapest, but because it's tasty. Maybe it contains bigger cacao beans and etc. So we're thinking not only about price. So it's very important to understand the level of differentiation. It could be standard, it could be low differentiation, it could be a high level of differentiation. The next, economy of scale. What does it mean? Okay, I will explain you with the help of the next screen, and then I will come back to the screen. So please look at this picture. Generally, any company has some economies when we are producing or selling or delivering goods in bigger volumes. For example, it's quite easy to understand that if you are buying a lot of products, the price will be better for you. And let's imagine one company is here and the second company is here. So this company, for example, is only entering the market, and this company is in the market. in the market for the long period. And you know that for this company, the price, the cost and the price can be lower compared with the costs of the first company. So it is the strong competitive advantage, and generally this situation could be different in different industries. So your task is not to prepare the description of this graph, because this graph is the result of very serious analysis, but you just have to explain, do you have this phenomenon in your industry or not? Usually all the industries have this phenomenon, but it is not a rule. You have to think about it. Then you need to describe resource requirements, how it is expensive to organize the production of the products which you are analyzing. So it must be some figure, as it is written here. Cost equals about $10 million, United States dollars. The same information must be provided by you about your industry. How expensive it is to build a factory to produce the products of the industry. Why it is very important? Because we will speak about it when actually you can miss this information about how easy it is to enter and to exit the market. We will speak about it during the next task, but what is very important now is the resource requirements for the setting up the business in the industry. And finally, you have to prepare the estimation of the average profitability of the industry. I'm stressing that it must be profitability, not your company, but the profitability of the industry, because now we are analyzing the industry. And generally, I'm stressing one more time why it is so important, because without it, it's not possible to craft a general strategy for a company. And generally, you will use this information, you will use the information of this analysis for all further steps of the strategy. Only one tip, dear students, when you are thinking about these 2 points, just a moment, about the scope of competition, please check the products that can be bought here in Ukraine. Because it was, for example, some situation that a student wrote me that he wrote about mineral water, and he told me that he not told but wrote that it is the national level of competition, but I kindly asked him to visit supermarkets, and then he saw that there are a lot of trademarks from Georgia, from Russia, from Europe. Uh, Usually it is from Georgia, but there are also a lot of trademarks of mineral water all over the world. It is possible to buy it in Ukraine, usually in any supermarket, even in ATB. It is the cheapest one, but it is possible to buy Borjomi, for example, there. So please, if you are writing about some product, please visit the at least two supermarkets from different nets to understand the scope of rivalry. And also very frequent mistake is here. Then some students are thinking that, okay, all the products are the same in this very market. And then I asked them also to visit, for example, supermarket and think why some product price is twice bigger compared with another product. And then students explained, okay, but there are some difference. And I say, okay, but if you say that there are some difference, so the products are not the same, not identical. That's why we can understand this difference in price. And also here, students usually forget to add some figure of the some needs in resources to build the factory, and here should be profitability, not your company, but the average profitability of the industry. Your task is to to conduct this type of analysis. Please take this presentation. It will be uploaded right after our lecture. Please take this presentation as a template, begin with market size, and you have to prepare something like written in green. Something like written in green, but not about the sulfuric acid industry, but about your industry. The deadline for the task is also written in the table. So I'm stopping the process of recording.